This podcast is for informational purposes only and is not intended to replace professional medical advice or be a substitute for therapy. Please contact a mental health professional as needed. If you are in need of urgent or emergency health care, please contact your medical and or mental health provider, call 911, or go to your nearest emergency room. The information presented in this podcast does not reflect the opinions of those with whom Dr. Ellick might be affiliated as an employee, consultant, or colleague, past or present. Hello and welcome to another episode of From Mayhem to Mindset with Dr. Laura. I am your host, Dr. Laura Ellick. And so I have today a guest who is so popular, we not only had to have him once, but we had him twice, and now we are having him for the third time. So this is David Osterman, my friends.
Hello.
He has an incredible recovery story to tell, starting really probably over a year ago, and I'll let David tell a little bit of his story, but we've been following David and his journey, and given that it's time for the holidays, and holidays can be a really tricky time for people who are in recovery, David has made tremendous gains in his life, and I wanted everyone to hear the update because it gives people hope that recovery is possible. So thank you, David, so much for taking time out of your schedule to come back again.
It's my pleasure.
So tell us, just for people who maybe have not heard your story, just give a brief summary of what happened originally.
Yeah, sure. Well, I just celebrated a year of my own sobriety, so about a year and a couple months. And about a year ago, I was really high on crystal meth and GHB, and I was running naked in an apartment building, and I jumped off of a third-story building. And I don't remember any of it. I spent 4 months in the hospital. I had to climb my way out of detoxing in the hospital and in learning how to walk again.
You broke every bone in your feet, correct?
Yes, I had to have 4 surgeries on my feet. And I had to, I had to get my entire back fused.
Wow.
Yeah.
I didn't remember that. Okay.
Yes. Mm-hmm. So the fact that I am walking it's a miracle. You know, it's a miracle. And so today I'm very active in my program. I have a sponsee, and now my sponsee has a sponsee.
No way.
So I actually have the honor. This is the first time in my own sobriety that I am seeing the 12 steps that I'm personally working, come to life, and actually becoming, an active member. I do a lot of service work. I chair meetings. I go to treatment centers. My key to my own sobriety is to stay active and stay in the middle and just be present.
Mm-hmm. One of the things that you had said in the first episode, I believe, because we were talking about, the mindset of recovery and just being in the hospital and being like, holy cow, how did I get here? Right? How did my life get to this place? And you spoke honestly in quite a lot of detail about your coming out story and so many other things that you had going on. You, to me, seem so much more grounded now than you were even in that very first episode. So it's clear to me that you have done a lot of work over the past year.
Yeah, I feel it too. When you're in the hospital and you have every infection under the sun, I had MRSA, I had pneumonia, I had staph infections. It's pretty scary when your family and your friends and every doctor has to come into your room and they're fully gowned up, and I've grown a lot. I view things differently. I take things differently. There's something that I love in this program that says, that I have to pause when I'm agitated, and I do, I really have, it's a big self-help program, and a self-growth program. And I have really, can honestly say before in the prior years that I tried to get sober, I was toe dipping. I wasn't really in it. I wasn't really involved with the ins and outs of it. And, am I perfect? No. But
And you had friends who were helping you. Like, people knew you were struggling and were trying to help you along the journey. You just weren't ready for it.
I wasn't ready for it. You can't be, I can only speak from my own experience, but people can tell you, I remember when I was doing crystal meth, my drug dealers would even tell me, don't do too much. It's going to get you. And I, being the stubborn LA Jew that I was, I was like, whatever, I know how to handle things,
It's nice that your dealers had heart.
Yeah. Well, I had money.
Oh, they didn't want to lose. They didn't want to lose out, right? Yeah.
Right? But no, but everybody warned me. You're doing too much. You're out of control.
Did you know you were out of control?
No.
Okay.
No, not at all. No, and
that's so common.
And even when I would have I can't say friends. I would have drug friends. Be like, we can't party with you anymore. You're just too much to be around. And I was just a mass destructant because I wasn't taking care of myself. And today I am. Today I eat healthy, I work out regularly, and even with my physical limitations, I've taken up swimming. And swimming has changed my life. It's like I swim 45 minutes of laps every day. Wow. Because I physically can't do the cardio machines, and I'm lifting weights, and I'm being very proactive in, because part of my success is it's mindset, it's
ta-da!
Yeah.
Because if you look at it, your life was mayhem.
100%.
100%, right?
And
that's why you were my first guest, by the way, because you really epitomized exactly what the show was about.
Yeah. And today, I used to crave and chase chaos, and today I crave and chase peace. I want the calm. I want the, before I needed to be the life of the party. Now I just want to be in the party.
Mm-hmm.
I don't need, and it's also part of it is I learned a lot because I can't drive right now. So I have for the past year living in Florida, and this month it's actually, what's today's date, November 11th?
Yeah.
Today's 1 year since I've been here.
Oh my gosh.
Wow. 1 year ago, I flew from Texas. God, that's so crazy. That's so funny.
That's crazy.
I didn't think about that. Today, my parents flew to Texas, got me out of my physical therapy place, went to my ex-boyfriend's house, who currently still has my dog, thank God, and she's very well. And we managed to get me on a plane in a wheelchair.
Cow.
And you have to understand, my feet I still had major infections, and I was wearing these big green boots to protect my feet. We somehow got me on a plane and got me to Florida, and it was really painful. It was really painful to get me on a plane, but we did it. Mm-hmm. And it's been a year today.
Yeah.
That's kind of cool. I didn't think about that.
Yeah. So tell us a little bit about the physical recovery, because the first time we saw you were using a walker.
Yeah.
Then the second time you were walking, you were getting ready to hopefully maybe drive, but weren't sure if that was going to happen. And now where are you physically?
I'm much better. I'm not 100%. I definitely still have physical limitations. There's a lot of scar tissue in my feet that we're actually treating with B12 shots.
Oh, cool.
And it's definitely getting better to reduce the scar tissue. I definitely can't walk normally. I can't stand up for long periods of time. I have to take it easy, but I can function in ways that I normally can. Will I ever get to run again? I don't know. But I don't think that far ahead. I just think of, what am I doing today?
Right, and you were staring down death. So, to be here, this has got to be amazing to you and your family. like your parents and your friends and people who, you know, worried about you.
Yeah, I mean, I had to move in with my 80-year-old parents, and I currently live in a 55 and older seniors place. And it's such a gift because I have my own room, I have my own wing, and I ride my bicycle to the gym and the pool. And I had to learn how to be independent. You know, like for months, the first day I got there, I was literally rolling my wheelchair around the block. And then I was graduated eventually too, and it was the first time in my life the doctor told me you cannot put any weight bearing on your feet for 4 months, right? I mean, and it's such a 4 months seems like a lifetime,
Forever, yeah.
you know. And then I graduated to a walker, and to be able to take that first step, you know, I was able to go a couple feet, and then I was able to go. You know, I had to push myself to go half a block and then a full block. And then I graduated to a cane, and I graduated to nothing. But like today, like I just went to an incredible Halloween festival called Wicked Manners. It's a big gay Halloween festival.
I saw the pictures.
It
You
was
were great.
amazing. Like
it looked like so much fun.
Oh my God, it was so much fun. It was like, but it was like last time that they used to have the same Halloween festival in West Hollywood, but the last time I was there was like 9 years ago, and I was tweaked out of my brain. And like this year, I went with some all new friends, and I took it slow. I brought my cane because I was like, you know what, I'm going to be walking a lot,
so just in case.
And it was perfect that I did, because I was a ringleader. I was like a circus, ringmaster. So people thought the cane
was part of
the costume.
Oh, that's perfect.
Like it was, they were like, wow, that's such a great, cane for a costume, but what I realized is that nobody cares. Like I have this view of like, oh, well, I can't do things because people are gonna, people are gonna judge me, and they don't.
Yeah, what have you learned? You know, we talked about the physical changes. What have you learned emotionally, spiritually, maybe about yourself, about people around you? You've developed quite a community around you.
Yeah.
In a short period of time.
Yeah, I've made some really good friends, a really good connection. I've learned that I just have to let things go, and I have to, be present in the moment. And I've also learned, like, I don't have to talk that much. Like I talk, but like I don't have to prove to everybody. Like I used to be a guy that I was the know-it-all, and I had to prove to everybody who I was, and prove to everybody that I'm the best. And I don't do that anymore. I'm just who I am, I'm a guy. I love to talk. I mean, I love to talk about sex. I love to talk about, I'm unapologetically me.
Don't most guys like to talk about sex?
Yeah.
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 Okay.
Especially gay guys.
Yeah.
Not all, but
Mm-hmm.
but like I just feel like, I was very repressed, and like I just want to be who I am. Like, and I don't want to be, do I have my moments? Sure. But everyone has their moments. But spiritually, it has everything to do with the program. Mm-hmm. It has everything to do with, I am spiritually fit today, and I know what that really means to be spiritually fit for me, and it means to be present, living in the moment, not lying. I mean, the program that I'm in is a program of honesty, and like the fact that I'm around so many people that are trying to live an honest life is very healthy. It's a very healthy thing to be around, because in the past, in my other businesses, it was not a business of honesty. It was a business of, cutthroat and,
Mm-hmm.
Hierarchy.
Mm-hmm. So, I'm kind of thinking of like snakes that shed their skin, or lobsters that molt. When you outgrow your life, you have to leave some things behind. So I'm imagining that there are some old friendships or connections or, people that you've had to leave behind, or people who didn't like the direction that you were going in and were like, hey, peace out, dude. Like, how's that been?
A lot. There's a lot of people that have done that.
That's hard,
it
right?
it was funny. I was just talking to my mom about this, and we're like, sometimes people in your life for a reason, sometimes people are in your life for a season, and sometimes people are in life for a lifetime, And I heard, like somebody told me a couple days ago, it's like, my life is no one else's business but mine, and yeah, I have gone through, and like I go through phases now that there are people that I meet and I don't want to be around them, and vice versa. And I know that everybody is not going to like me, and I'm not going to like everybody, and it's a hard lesson, because when you're facing near death, everything is a gift,
So you feel the gratitude.
Oh yeah. Yeah. And I also feel like, I truly got a second chance of life. My accident was my greatest gift. And because I never had, yes, some bad things happened, but I never, ever had a real consequence in my life. And until this accident, and today, everything's going to work out one way or the other.
It does, right?
Yeah.
It has to.
It has to. It will, one way or the other. And it's like, it's up to me and my actions and my, thought process of how am I going to deal with this. And truthfully, the program that I'm in gives me that strength. It gives me the tools of understanding of how to live my life sober, and because, a lot of people, including myself, used, the drugs, the alcohol to
manage feelings or emotions
and to mask the pain.
Mm-hmm.
Like there was a lot of, I have a lot of shame of, being gay and not admitting it until I was 42. So, but I've worked past that, I've worked through all that. And,
it's not that odd a story. I'm
No.
sure as you're talking to people, it is not that strange.
No, and there's hundreds of thousands of guys that I've met. I just recently got acquainted to a gay fathers worldwide group, and there's 2,500
Wow.
people in this Facebook group.
So there's 2,500 people right there.
All over the world,
Mm-hmm.
that all have children, that all were married to women, or, I mean, maybe some were married to men, but, have come out and, be able to live, their truth, and that's something I've learned in this past year is, A, what is my truth, and B, how to stick to my truth, and the things that I feel that I want to be able to, accomplish, and being able to be a part of, like you said, I've made some really good friends in a very short amount of time, and, but there's also, like my old personality comes out a lot, which I don't like.
Old habits die hard.
Yeah, I don't like, because I hear it and I see it and I feel it. But today, because I have my program that I work, I'm able to acknowledge it quicker.
That's part of the growth, right? Is being able to recognize, oh, I'm being that person again, or I'm going down the wrong path. Having the insight to recognize it as it's happening and then change it.
Yeah, and being able to live it, which is hard, which is because, even though, like, yes, I'm sober a year and a little bit, and yes, I work my program, and yes, I do all these things, you know, I still have to acknowledge and remember the man I used to be. Because if I don't acknowledge that, it's kind of like the good wolf, bad wolf kind of thing. You want to keep that bad wolf simmered, but you need to feed it a little bit, because otherwise it's going to come back with a vengeance. You know, and I've learned that, you know, and it's a good feeling to be able to have a control over your life.
Right.
Like I just went to an incredible recovery retreat this weekend, and it was 140 guys that were at this retreat, and there were ropes courses and canoes and all that stuff, and there were certain things I couldn't do, and did I feel a little left out? I did, you know, but I also felt grateful to even just be there. You know, I felt grateful that I could, you know, like I had to ice my feet the whole weekend, and I had to, like, you know, I couldn't walk normally with all the people there, like that everybody was walking together, and I found myself walking by myself a lot because I can't walk normally.
And that's your reality for right now.
That's my reality. But every time I did, you know, and I met so many wonderful people, but it's like I always had that, you know, like my reality is that I am going to be probably physically disabled for the rest of my life. I can't say forever, but for today, I'm able to, the fact that I could go away for 3 nights in a campground and walk around with my condition that my feet are in is a miracle, you know? And I did things that I got in the canoes. You know?
They probably told you in the hospital, we don't even know if you're ever going to be able to do any of these things.
Yeah, no,
You had infections, who knew?
Well, every week that I was in the hospital, they told me they would have to amputate my feet, you know, and they told me that my feet will probably never be the same again, and my feet will probably be in constant pain ever again, you know, but I'm a fighter, you know. I learned in the hospital that I tell people in my program, I'm like, I found God, you know, and because the program that I'm in, you know, you talk about a higher power or a greater presence, you know. In the Jewish religion, you call Hashem, like, you know, like, but it's like I really feel that there was something greater than me that saved my life.
I hear a lot of people say when they have some sort of adversity, I hear a lot of people say, oh, it was my accident, my trauma, my whatever was a gift. And I hear them say the words, but when I heard you say it, I could see it in your eyes and in your facial expression. Like, I truly believe you, where other people, I think they feel they need to say it because that's what you're supposed to say. When I hear you, that's like truly been your experience.
Yeah, because I've learned that if I don't feel it, I don't say it. It's not, I don't need to prove anything to anybody, you know, but it's also, you know, like, I've learned that my reality is a gift. And it's hard. I mean, it's hard not to be able to run with people or walk fast with people or play with, you know, like with my, you know, because my feet are, I'm constantly focusing on my balance, you know, and am I going to fall, or am I going to this, or am I going to that, you know? And so it's a give and take. It's a yin and a yang. But you know, part of my problems of why I am a chronic relapser in my drug addiction is that I forget, you know, when things are good, you forget.
Oh, maybe I'll just try a little bit, or I'm doing really well, which brings us to, you know, the idea of relapse, and the holidays are a notoriously difficult time for people. So, you know, you made it through the holidays last year being newly sober.
Yes.
right? And so now it's a year later. What have you learned, or what advice can you give people who are early in their recovery?
They got to reach out to people. They got to, they got to just reach out and
It's that connection, isn't it?
yeah,
Can't isolate.
There are plenty of meetings. There are plenty of Christmas and Thanksgiving and Hanukkah and New Year's events. Unfortunately, I read all the time that the holidays are a very high rate of suicide, because people are, not only being sober, but especially being gay and sober, because, the straight community, they may be married, they may be not.
Single, gay, sober,
Yeah.
right? I mean, there's the
hard.
trifecta right there.
It's really hard because, there's a lot of gay men that I know in my business and my, life that the holidays are horrible for them. And that's why a lot of people have created Friends. I think Thanksgiving.
Friendsgiving, I think they call it. Yeah.
I think it got, created by the show Friends, many, many years ago. But
it's a great concept.
It's a
Not
wonderful.
everyone has family, right?
Yeah.
Family that they're close to, or, people live across the country. It's not that easy to fly and see everybody.
And it's also like if you're just getting out of treatment or you're newly in the program, and you're living in a new city that your family is not there. And sometimes, like, I'll be honest, there was many, many years that I did not want to be with my family. I did not want to be having Thanksgiving dinner with my family. Even my kids, when they were younger, I did, but being sober can also be very isolating. I was a king isolator, and part of going to meetings and getting out there and going to, there's tons of events that are constantly going on within the sober community but you have to go to them. Like, you have to go.
That's the effort.
Yeah.
That's the work.
That's the work.
Right. The work is actually getting out the door.
Yeah, you have to go.
Or logging on to Zoom and finding the meeting, whatever. That's the work.
You have to do it. I think it's anything in this world is you have to put yourself out there. And as long as you keep showing up, I don't care if it's playing tennis, going to a meeting, being a part of a theater group, whatever it is, you have to show yourself and people that as long as you show up, especially in our program, there's a big phrase that says, keep coming back, right? And that's it. It doesn't matter if it's in my program or in life, you have to keep showing up. It's like when all these people play tennis, right? You show up to a tennis match every week and they rely on you. If it's golf, if it's bowling.
You're not going to get any better if you don't show up and do it. Right. Absolutely.
And you're not going to get any better if you isolate. And the holidays are, it's a very big time of, well, am I going to get a gift? Mm-hmm. And who am I going to get a gift from?
And at the end of the day, does that stuff really matter? No. For someone who's been through what you've been through, can you actually look through the BS and be like, really, none of that matters?
Nothing matters. None of it matters. All that matters is connections. It's friends. And it's actually, I was talking to a friend yesterday about, because I haven't been able to drive for the past year, I spend 15 to 20 minutes in a car, sometimes 40 minutes, each way with these new connections. Mm-hmm. Some are good rides, some are not, but I have been able to build wonderful, intimate friendships with these people that are so gracious to give me rides, because I don't want to rely on my family and my parents. They do take me sometimes, but I don't want to do that, and the fact that I'm able to sit and know about people's lives, because there was times in my life that it was all about me, and it was all about, what are you going to do for me? And now it's like, now that I'm sober and my head is clear, I can remember, oh, well, this guy, like I had a friend, he's starting a new job yesterday, right? He told me over the weekend. So I texted him, how's your first day? There's a guy that lives out of state that I met at this conference that I went to. I asked him, did you make it home safe? I never would do those things before.
I love it when people do that.
Yeah.
I love it when people don't understand that something that small is really a huge step towards connection.
Yeah.
It just means you're being remembered.
Yeah. And like the notes that I send out every day.
I love those.
Yeah, they're great, right? Now, I personally send them out because I spend an hour every day. Literally, I spend an hour in the bed. I go through my Facebook, and they spit out quotes, right? And I probably look to 4 or 5 of them before I choose, right? Now, I don't expect any response from anybody ever, right? And because I do them because it was a way that when I was in bed and I couldn't move, it was a way for me to reach out to people. And it's like 3 lines, I don't want them more than like 3 lines, maybe a couple, but like, I get responses every once in a while. Oh my God, I really needed to hear that today. And thank you. Oh my, that's so on point, and it's not, we're not having conversations because I respond with like a heart emoji or something like that. But it's like, but there's other people that I see around at meetings and stuff that are, they're like, oh my God, I love your messages, and they're like, I'm sorry I don't respond. I'm like, no.
That's not what it's about.
That's not what it's about.
Right.
Don't be sorry.
Right. But remember, I texted you because I thought I had fallen off the list. I'm like, David, I don't think I'm getting them
sometimes
anymore.
My phone does some
But
weird
I
stuff.
love reading them. It's a great tone for the day. So connection is obviously so important. You started a TikTok channel very early on. Where is it now? Because I see you still are posting consistently.
I have about 4,500 followers.
That's great.
Yeah.
That's great.
Yeah.
So you're creating connection and collaboration right there.
Yeah, and I have about 3,500 followers on Facebook. So, and I'm doing it, for this new business I'm building. And
so let's talk about the new business.
Yeah. Well, the new business is a gay life coaching business. I am now a certified LGBTQ life coach, but I'm really telling you it's like a gay men's life coach. And I am, I just got my certifications, and my focus is going to be for gay men over 40 who have either come out later in my life like me or have been out for their whole life and need to refocus and redirect. And the reason why I'm doing this is because when I came out at 42, I had no one. Honestly, like the guy that taught me about everything was a gay porn star, and like he was such a wonderful presence for me. And there's so many guys out there that just don't know they're about to come out, or they're about to take on this new journey, or they're
dragged out, right?
Yeah.
Sometimes it's not by your own design.
Yeah. And so I am in the process right now of doing a lot of networking. I'm getting my name out there. I'm producing content every week, which I think you see. And and I'm learning how to do it too. Like my first posts were shirtless because, on my Facebook and Instagram, like I get 100 views when I have my shirt on.
Is that crazy?
Yeah. And then when I have my shirt off, I get 800 views.
There you go.
It's like, that's just
the algorithm loves you shirtless. Right? What can we say?
But I have gotten, because from the networking, and it's a very different networking that I'm doing. It's a virtual networking. I've talked to gay life coaches in Scotland, in England, in Hawaii, in London, all over. And one of those guys in LA, he's like, listen, he goes, I love your content. You need to put a polo shirt on. And I'm like, and I told him, I was like, but I get more views. He goes, it doesn't matter. He goes, if you want to be respected and a professional
taken seriously,
life coach, just wear a polo shirt, And he goes, I love the content, because I'm picking on my content like issues that are my present day, of how I feel, and it's brand new to the business, so I'm very excited, to be able to do this because I've always wanted to give back, and I've always wanted to be able to, to just give back and to be a support to people, and it's kind of, I'm in the process right now of having a bunch of free discovery calls, and I talk to a bunch of gay life coaches that have a lot of years of experience, and they're like, it's going to take a while for you to ramp up the business.
Patience.
You have to have patience, and it's so hard. I don't have patience, because.
But you're in it for the long haul. But you really highlighted the point. You could go the short route and do all of your posts shirtless, right? I mean, and get all of these kinds of views, but it's not going to give you the kind of views that you want, right? It's going to be like clickbait kind of stuff.
Yeah.
And that's not who you are. So see, people, that's why I don't do any content shirtless, right? Because we don't want to have that. Yeah. But I mean, that's the patience part, is the long haul. Do you want to be here just for the short term, or do you want to really make an impact long term?
And my goal is, like I'm learning LinkedIn, which I don't, it's like a whole nother world, but like my goal is to eventually start doing retreats and start doing conferences and speaking on stages, and but like, and coaching, and being like, and I am now in the process, like I'm doing free coaching right now because
it's like you're training.
I'm training, I have to be able to learn, and it was interesting that I've had a few discovery calls, and I'm not a therapist, nor do I want to be a therapist. And, and I never knew the fine line between coaching and therapy. And so some guy was, he was, in the middle of his divorce and blah, blah, blah. And, he just kept going on and on and on. And I had to stop him. I'm like, listen, man, I said, these are serious, deep-rooted personality issues that I am not equipped to do. So what did I do? I went out to my community. He lives in Chicago, I think. I don't remember where he lives, but I found him 2 gay therapists for him to connect with. You know? And that's something that, because I realized that like I need gay therapists all over the United States.
That's right.
Because if somebody, and I told him, I said, go do your therapy, go do whatever it is, and then come back, because the business is based on short-term, present, and long-term goals.
Right.
And it has a lot to do with like, where are your finances? Well, like some guy called and he's like, well, I'm leaving my house that I've owned for 35 years. How do where's the proper gay spaces to live? And I'm in my
really good questions.
I'm in my mid 50s, and it's like, like I don't want to be in the party scene. I want to be in the adult gay scene. I want to be in people that, because, there's a lot of, I wouldn't say gay stigma, but like, there's a lot of, it's like, there's the young gay scene, the guys in their 20s and 30s, and then there's the guys like me in their mid 50s, right? And it's like, where's my place? And it's like, it's kind of like when he said that, I kind of put my old travel agent hat on, of like, oh yeah, like, like if you lived in LA, I would recommend that you go to the older gay area called Silver Lake versus, and like if he lives here, I would tell him to go to Wilton Manors, where there's a lot of older gay guys, instead of Miami, which there's a lot of younger gay guys. So I am just learning that,
So this is your new chapter. So where can people reach you if they want to book a discovery call or get more information about you and your coaching?
Right now on Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, it's all under David Osterman. So it's Can
you spell your last name just so people know?
It's Osterman. On Instagram, it's DFO 2374. That's my tagline, but it's all under David Osterman. Under LinkedIn, it's David Osterman. I now have a whole LinkedIn page, which is kind of cool.
That's awesome.
It's very. I made it very professional. And I was able to. I've gotten 3 certifications so far. So my certifications are all. I have a regular life coaching certification. I have an LGBTQ life coaching certification. I'm an NLP practitioner.
That's great.
And I'm in the process of taking another certification called a human design certification. And, I'm just learning what I want to establish my business right now. I'm kind of, I'm not, I'm ready to take on clients, but everyone is going to be free for a little bit until I get, a
That's
good
awesome.
base of how I want to structure everything. So it's
That's
very
great.
exciting.
It is very exciting.
I'm very charged up by it.
David, thank you so much for coming by again and sharing your journey. It's so nice to see you. So nice to see you thriving. I'm really excited to see what your fans out there are going to say, because there have been people who have been following your journey since day one. So this is super, super exciting. I wish you all of the best. And you'll be back again, I hope, to tell us that your business is thriving. And I hope you'll remember us when. So thanks, David. Don't forget to tune in to the next episode of From Mayhem to Mindset with Dr. Laura. Peace out. Thanks for joining us on From Mayhem to Mindset. If you found today's episode helpful, be sure to subscribe wherever you get your podcasts and leave a 5-star review. It really helps spread the message. Want to dive deeper? Check out my book, Wisdom from the Universe, available now on Amazon. And if you're looking for a speaker to inspire and transform, I'd love to connect. Visit www.lauraellick.com to learn more. Remember, you don't have to just survive, you can thrive. See you next time.